So yesterday on my video, the 19th represents Meghan Markle, what crossed my mind. I said something that I felt that when workers give their all or something like that. Here's the clip. So another thing I thought about the interview was when there's a part where they were talking about how the organization came about and the things that the people, the workers who dedicate and do the work. And one thing that came to mind was when money get involved, journalism become trash. So usually when workers care about what they're doing and their bosses treat them fairly and nicely, humanely, most workers will give more of their time, their quality, than what they are being paid for. So I truly believe that. So for her to take off like that within 1 year is because is the quality of presentation, the way she treat her, I guess, co-founders. I don't know how many people co-found the 19th, but they work together to make this work, especially during the pandemic. I came across some videos that pretty much solidified what I meant by that. So here are some videos as examples.
More than a week after the heart of Beirut was shattered, this morning Pamela Zeynoun takes us back to the day her world blew up. New CCTV shows the view from the top of Beirut's St. George's Hospital. New video inside the hospital shows the moment of the blast. Pamela, a NICU nurse, was at her desk.
And I heard something very loud. The ground started shaking underneath me and everything came crumbling down.
She crawled out.
Where is my babies? Where are the babies?
The blood of her colleague splattered on the incubator.
I couldn't see them because all the babies were covered with rubble. I grabbed them, I disconnected them, and I held them well and went through this door outside. Everything here was bloody. I was shaking, my hands were shaking. So what happened is I was doing this all the time, this movement, to see if I still had three heads between my arms.
On her way out, this now viral photograph shows her calling for help. Alongside a doctor, she ran 3 miles through the devastation to find a working hospital.
People started coming to me asking me, how can we help you? I told them, please, just give me t-shirts, anything you could take off and give it to me so I could wrap the babies up so they don't lose their temperature.
And when she got there, there was only one incubator left.
They were all okay, they were all breathing, they were all asleep at that moment. So I felt a moment of peace when I had them back in this incubator.
2 of the babies Pamela saved were triplets, Sadra and Ali. Their sister Zahra discharged last week. Their mother says they feared the worst. All we saw were their blankets. Then someone said they were with Pamela. She found the only way to express this kind of thanks.
You know, the thing that got me is that it's not even her babies. She could have walked away and left them. And when they said the blood of her colleagues on the thing for the incubators, where is she? I don't know. So she walked 3 miles with 3 premature babies. Well, I don't know if they're premature. With 3 babies in her hand for safety. This is what I mean by someone who cares and who's doing the job because of her own heart. Yes, they need money, but it's not mostly for money. So that's example number 1.
Senator Harris very well. She's Beth Foster Gale. Her late husband, Tyrone Gale, was a press secretary for Senator Harris. Thank you so much, Beth, for being with us. And I'm so sorry for the loss of your husband. When you saw Senator Harris speaking today as vice presidential candidate, what would that have meant to Tyrone, and what did it mean to you?
It would have meant to Tyrone. Tyrone deeply believed in Senator Harris and her leadership, and he would have given anything to be a part of this moment and see her elevated to this position, which we all know she would be an incredible vice president.
What was it about her that, what did Tyrone see in her? He went to work for her as a freshman senator.
So, Tyrone, it was coming off the loss on the Clinton campaign. He had worked for Secretary Clinton and had the opportunity to start in Senator Harris's office in January of 2017. And Tyrone is this relentless optimist, and he believed that Senator Harris was someone that we needed in this era. She was someone that could take the fight to Trump. And Tyrone believed deeply in representation. As a Black man, he really believed that nothing in this country can change until the people in power look like the people that they represent. And so, getting the opportunity to work for a Black woman, especially in this moment, was a lifelong dream of his. Tyrone was the son of Jamaican immigrants, much like Senator Harris. And so, getting to work with someone that had his shared life experience and brought that to the policies and the work that she did was an amazing experience for Tyrone.
Senator Harris has spoken about Tyrone's legacy, and she described him really, it was just lovely. She said, for Tyrone, nothing was too small to do or too big to take on. He did this work tirelessly, always with a smile or a kind gesture. He never lost faith in our ability to do good for the people in this country.
Yeah, I mean, hearing those words, they make me a little teary. I mean, that was Tyrone to a T. Whether it was sort of the dark days of the Trump administration or, when he was fighting his own battle with cancer, he always believed that tomorrow was going to be better. And he instilled that belief in everyone around him, to the point sometimes of annoyance. But it was just this wonderful quality that he had.
You both saw a side of Senator Harris that really, most Americans don't get to, especially in tough times. How would you describe her when the cameras aren't on?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tyrone, a few months after he went to work for Senator Harris, his colon cancer came back. He had been in remission and it came back. And I vividly remember when he told Senator Harris about this. And, she knows all too well about this experience. Her mother passed away from colon cancer. And so, she knew this journey and this fight that Tyrone was going to have to face. And she found so many ways to pick him up during his cancer battle. She would, tell him how handsome he looked, even when he lost his hair and his suits were baggy. She would call him to the point where Tyrone said, she checked in on him more than some members of his family. And she just, she found a way to treat him with so much compassion and love, but also held him to a really high standard, which Tyrone wanted and appreciated. He knew that, this was his life's work, and he didn't want her to let up on him or go easy on him.
Yeah.
If I may, there's a story I want to share. I don't talk about it very often. It's a little bit difficult for me to talk about, but it's about the night that Tyrone died. Tyrone's death was relatively sudden, although we had a few hours to kind of prepare. He was hospitalized at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City. And so we let friends and family know the end was near, and word reached Senator Harris. And she dropped everything in the middle of, congressional work period and flew up to New York City to be with us. And she, unobtrusively came into the hospital room. She held Tyrone's hand. She told funny stories about him. And, she said goodbye. And she hugged me just as everything in my entire world was falling apart. And she looked deep in my eyes and told me that she would have my back forever. And it is a moment I will never forget for as long as I live. It's not an easy thing to go through an experience like that. It's not something I would wish on my worst enemy, but Senator Harris volunteered to be there, and she volunteered to share that moment with us, for someone who she hadn't even known that long. But that's the compassion that she has.
Wow. Well, it's also a testament to your husband and the loyalty that he engendered in others.
So, and the second example, what got me is the fact that Senator Harris didn't really have to go to the hospital in New York to meet her former employee. But because she cares and the work and time the person had put to help her get where she is, and at the time of his last being, is meant so much for her, where she feel like she should, you know, I don't know what she felt. I don't want to say this is what she felt, but you see my point. She didn't really have to go to New York. It's not her son. It's not her husband. It's none of her family member, but just a former employee. So yep, that's what I mean by that. Thanks for watching.
I got to go, but I know you set up a scholarship fund in Tyrone's name to help others, more young Black Americans to get into politics. How can people find out information about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you Google the Tyrone Gale Scholars Program, you'll find out some information, or go to galenation.com. And it is a fantastic program. It's changing the lives of Black students.
And that's Gayle.